Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience Podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what is My Time? My Time is a set of experiences that have happened over my lifetime that I hope will be of value to you. Hi, I'm Mike Litton. This is the Mike Litton Experience, and this is My Time. So years ago, my wife and I bought our first property. And the way that we came about finding this property was from a door hanger, believe it or not. I came home from work one day, and there was a door hanger on our apartment door. And it said that there were VA foreclosed homes, VA owned homes that were in our area, and it had a list of them. Well, one of them happened to be on the same street we were on in this area called, this community called Rancho Bernardo, which is North San Diego area. And so we went and I asked my wife, I said, hey, you want to go drive by this property? Sure. So we went by and drove by it because I didn't recognize the address except that the street was the same. So we drove by, we took a look at it, we really liked the location. So we called the broker, and the broker who hung the flyer on the door said, "Hey, come by my house. It's in Escondido. I'll give you the key. You can show it yourself." Because obviously I'd been in the business for a while, and he knew me, and I had a license and all that. So I went by, got the key, took my wife over. We opened the door, and this property literally smelled brand new. It had only been lived in for 6 months. This guy bought it. This veteran bought it. Had brand new, all kinds of upgrades put in it, Berber carpeting, all kinds of things. And he had gotten in a fight with his girlfriend and had ended up going to jail. And he lost the property to foreclosure, and VA now owned it, and we were looking at it as a VA foreclosure. So the property was on the market for $180,000. And that was probably a little more than I wanted to pay and a little more than my wife wanted to pay. So here's what I told my wife. I said, listen, every couple of weeks, they're gonna lower the price of this property. When they lower it to $140,000, we're buying it. And we did. So we literally went in and put an offer in with financing because they were offering VA financing. I'm not a veteran. I don't have a VA benefit. VA financing is amazing. The thing is, I didn't have that benefit, but on a VA foreclosure, some foreclosures that they're having a tough time selling, and back then it was taking 6 months plus to sell houses, average on the market, they were willing to they were willing to actually finance the loan. So we put 5% down, no closing costs, got a subsidized lower interest rate than just about anybody else out there. In fact, it would have cost $15,000 extra to buy that interest rate down if you'd gone to a regular mortgage bank versus the VA. So we saved a bunch of money. We did really, really well. We bought it for $140,050, literally, right? That's what the offer was that we put in. So we buy it, we close escrow. The day before we're getting ready to close escrow, by the way, we walk in and the place is torn up. Like all the walls are opened up, and you can see all the plumbing and all this kind of stuff. The drywalls. This place is destroyed. It is in terrible, terrible shape. And my wife started crying. And I thought, okay, let's not get too upset. Let's not get too excited here. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. So I got a hold of the listing agent. He didn't know what was happening. So I ended up making some calls. Turns out a buddy of mine was involved in litigation on this project, with this HOA, and they had received permission from the VA without the listing agent knowing about it to go in and tear up all these walls. What he told me was, he said, give us a day. By tomorrow this time, it'll be complete. You won't be able to tell we were there. And he was right. They came back in and completely repaired all the walls. The only thing you saw, we found some drywall dust that was on the tile, the floor tile, right behind the front door. That was it. That was the only evidence that they had even been there. It was amazing, right? So we close escrow and we move in. And we end up living there for a few years. We end up having our first baby, Michael. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know Michael's our firstborn. And then Madison, our secondborn, is coming. She's on the way. And we have no bedroom for her. I took over the bedroom. I'm going to be doing a podcast episode, Mike Time episode about this, but I took over the extra bedroom that we had, the third one. And so Michael had a bedroom, we had a bedroom, the primary, and then there was the third bedroom. It was a 3-2. So poor Madison's born, and she's having to stay in the master bedroom with us. Now, we had found a house, and we're doing my time episode on that too. We'd found a house, we were having it built, but it wasn't time yet to move. So in this market where it was taking 6 months average to sell a house, we ended up selling our house in 1 day, full price, all cash. Now, how did we do that in a market where the average listing sells in 6 months? Well, here's how we did it. We made sure that we kept an attention to detail. We cleaned behind the stove. We cleaned behind the refrigerator. We cleaned in areas that nobody looks at, nobody pays attention to, but we cleaned it up and made it as perfect as we possibly could. We cleaned the windowsills. We repainted. We touched up everything. The one thing that I did in particular was I spent 3 whole days on my stomach in this 1,500 square foot stacked flat condo, touching up every little mark on the floorboards or the baseboards, every single little mark, because it was an eggshell white kind of color, so it was a little off-white color, but it showed everything, like any sort of a nick, any sort of anything. I cleaned all of that up, so I painted all of that, and I mean, I'm talking bathrooms, I'm talking every room in the house. That place looked immaculate. We had a 1 day open house for everybody. It was a 3-hour period. Everybody had to come through in that 3 hours. Boy, did we have a lot of people come through. They all came through in a 3-hour period, and we sold it that day, full price, all cash. You can do that. You can sell a house yourself. You can sell a house yourself and get maximum value for it if you make sure you take care of the details. If you have more questions about that, give me a call at that number over there, and I'll be happy to help you. I'll be happy to walk you through how to do it. But basically, you just need to make sure you have an attention to detail, and you want to make sure that you're intense about making sure that attention to detail is something that that appeals to the buyer. Buyers want a move-in ready home, even more so today than back then. This was back in 2000, but this was a situation where we sold that house very, very quickly, full price, made a bunch of money on that house from the $140,050 that we paid for it in just a few short years. And we took that money and used that money to open a Keller Williams office and also to buy our house that we had built, our brand new house in Escondido. So what did I learn? What I learned was attention to detail. I learned resourcefulness. I learned that you can, in fact, in any market, sell your home for maximum value if you pay attention to the details. We decluttered, we had all the carpets cleaned, we had all of the tile cleaned. I mean, we did everything you can think of. If you have questions, give me a call and I'll walk you through it. But I hope you enjoyed this. This was another episode of Mike Time. Please tell your friends, family, and coworkers about us, and leave us a rating wherever it is that you get your podcasts. I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon. We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out Calendly.com/Rio760.